times when we get together. Gonna be good times, so come on and join the fun. It's gonna be good times. Get on the road, come over. Gonna be good times for everyone.
Welcome back to the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970. The Answer. Look, I don't care who you are, but if you're having a party and if you're having an Oktoberfest party, there is nothing better than listening to great polka music, and you can't go wrong with Jimmy Sturr. Going to be good times when you're sitting around eating some bratwurst, drinking some great German beer, and hanging out with friends and having a good time. My next guest is one of the founders of a brewery in Butler, New Jersey, since 2014. They're open. Well, has it been 2014? I don't know. It's a little bit longer than that. But listen, they're open. They're open Wednesday through Sunday. They have various hours. You can follow their Facebook page for more info on this, or just head over to ramsteinbeer.com. That's RAMSTEIN.com. Let me welcome to the Craft Beer Cast on AM 970 for the first time on the Craft Beer Cast, Greg Zaccardi. Greg, how are you?
Oh, Al, thanks so much for having me on. How are you doing? You got me in the mood there with that opening song. This is our season.
I love it. So right off the bat, I got to ask you, because it's been puzzling me for years, because I've known about you guys, and I have had your beer before. The name of the brewery is Ramstein Brewing, but you also go under the name High Point Brewing. What's the reason behind the two names?
Okay, so when we first looked to build our brewery, I wanted to go to a place that reminded me of where I worked as a brewer in southern Germany. You know, I learned my chops, fortunately, working in a fairly small relative to German standards, but large relative to microbreweries, right. German brewery in southern Germany, right on the Swiss-German border there with the foothills of the Alps. So we thought it would be a great idea to go all the way up to High Point, New Jersey, the highest point in New Jersey. And right. It's picturesque and gorgeous, but it just was impractical to open up a real brewery up there. We didn't have the utilities we needed. Water was a challenge, so sure. We decided to just go as far down Route 23 as we needed to get all of those critical utilities and a good supply of water, and that's how we wound up in Butler. So the brewery's name is High Point Brewing, after the original location we wanted to be in, and Ramstein is the brand, our number one selling brand of beer, and the brand Ramstein is kind of it's named after the American Air Force Base in Germany.
Right.
It's a place where a lot of Americans are learning about German culture, and the Germans are learning about Americans. And that's kind of what our beer is about, too. It's sort of that hybrid of the traditional German styles with a little bit of American creativity and fun.
Gotcha. So now, all right, we've got that settled. So for those of you who don't know, quick origin story about Greg. You go to college, you become a chemist, you get a job with IBM. You don't like it so much, you join the EPA, a little more exciting. You homebrew some more, you become the president of the New York City Homebrewers Club. And as fate would have it, you meet the girl of your dreams, who happens to be German, with a family history of brewing for over 300 years. So you head over to Germany, and suddenly, kapow, you want to be a brewer of German beers. Take me through the rest of the story.
So, yeah, I mean, I was homebrewing like a lot of people that start breweries, right. And was getting great feedback. And my father-in-law, who's obviously, well, he passed away, but he's in Germany and had a lot of, fortunately, some good contacts. He was able to basically, pave the way for this American homebrewer to kind of get in behind the scenes and learn the true art and science and craft of making beer in Germany. So he said to me, before you give up your, EPA job, making nice money in New York City,
right.
Come work in a brewery and see if you like working in basically a factory versus a desk job. And yeah, I said yes. I did it, and I fell in love with the craft of brewing, and had that vision still to come back to America and make beer that you can only taste in Germany, but we now can make it here, and you can get that fresh flavor. Kind of like that's our critical ingredient, is the freshness now. So
absolutely,
that's how it started.
Absolutely. We're talking with Greg Zaccardi. He's the founder of Ramstein Beer in Butler, New Jersey, and High Point Brewing. RamsteinBeer.com is the website for more information as we're here on the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970. The Answer. So let's talk Oktoberfest. I was at your Oktoberfest celebration. By the way, thanks for the invite. I really appreciate it. We didn't have time to talk. It was very busy when you guys first got started there. So I ended up picking up a couple of cans and bringing it to a barbecue that I went to. It was an excellent Marzen and is certainly the right time for it. How was the celebration last weekend, and do you have anything planned for the coming weeks as Oktoberfest usually goes on for a few weeks here?
Sure. Yeah. No. Thank you so much for coming. I'm glad, and those kind words are greatly appreciated. It is the most wonderful time of the year for a brewery that makes German-style beers.
Indeed.
So, yeah, it was our biggest Oktoberfest to date at our brewery. A little bit overwhelming, but it great to see so many happy people. You know, we're finally getting back into some sense of normalcy, and
Right.
I think people are ready to just have a great party outdoors. You know, we were blessed with great weather, and we were busy. This is our busiest time of the year, so. You know, we have our beer at a number of places throughout the tri-state area, so distributed in New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. We're at Mountain Creek for their Oktoberfest. We're doing a special beer dinner at Brasserie Mamere in Closter on September 30th, and then October 1st. It's a really fun time at the Pilsner House. We're doing a barrel tapping. They're located in Hoboken, New Jersey. So we just did a couple other barrel tappings and festivals previously. So it's a season. We're just rocking through it.
Now, you're also the only brewery in New Jersey, Greg, that is brewing beer using the strict German purity laws. And with so many brewers doing so many different things with beer, and, you know, there's so many beer groups that are, you know, pastry stout this and milkshake IPA that, have you ever given a thought of brewing a different type of beer like a pastry stout or a sour, or that you guys, German beer is is how we're doing it. It's been our bread and butter for a very long time, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah, we definitely have the the creative element of the seasons, right? That's the beauty of autumn and this seasonal Oktoberfest. So yeah, we get to mix it up a little bit.
Right.
We do Firkin Fridays at our brewery draft room, so we'll take one of our like an unfiltered Helles and add ginger and lemon and some honey to it, and that kind of gives a little bit of creative outlet. But in terms of what we bring out into the general marketplace, you know, we're blessed with being busy enough that we really can't deviate with our capacity from our core brands.
Gotcha.
It's not for some like elitist reason that we don't make pastry stouts. We did do a Berliner Weiss, which is a sour style beer,
right?
A couple, for a number of summers. But it's just, in fact, Friday we're getting a big the new fermentation tank in. So we're growing our capacity, but I think the demand for what we do, because it's a bit unique relative to,
sure.
All of the, like you said, IPA and pastry stout breweries, keeps us busy enough doing what we're doing. And that's why we are.
But that's a good thing. I mean, sometimes the older styles and traditional styles are always a good thing to fall back on. Or in your case, it's what you do, and if you're doing it great, then that's a good thing. There's nothing wrong with that. We're talking with Greg Zaccardi. He's the founder of Ramstein Beer in Butler, New Jersey. RamsteinBeer.com, the website for more information. As we're here on the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970, The Answer. So you mentioned COVID and people coming out again, and it's a great thing. And I have to say it. Obviously, COVID affected a lot of businesses over the last 19 to 20 months. How badly did it affect your business operations, if at all?
Yeah. I mean, it was. You want to talk about instant change? That we had it. We had our open house for our Maibach, which is our spring seasonal delicious beer. That was on, I believe, it was March 15th.
Right.
And that was in 2020, I think
right.
It was 2019, and things were starting to change already. There was that feeling of pensive. People were a little reluctant to go into buildings, and this was before really it got out there that we had to have a lockdown. And at that point, we were positioned where we had brewed a ton of Oktoberfest beer. 80% of our business back then was to restaurants and bars, so it was all 80%. 20% was in bottles, and overnight, they locked down the bars and restaurants. So we got stuck selling, a year's worth of or season's worth of Maibach right from our brewery, and we went from having 80% of our customers just vanish overnight. So it was a bit of I was kidding someone. The breweries that went through prohibition actually had more notice than we did.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. Greg, what new seasonal beers do you have coming out in the near future?
So the next thing for us is our winter wheat double bock, which is a wonderful, rich, dark, malty wheat-based double bock, and that's available. We have an open house in November, the second Saturday of November, to release our winter wheat double bock, and that'll take us through the holiday season. So we're really, we're off and running. Once Oktoberfest starts and the book starts rolling, so do we, and we just stay busy, thankfully, straight through the holidays. We also do, in the beginning of the year, an ice version of it. We're one of the few breweries that does an ice bock. So we'll take the winter wheat double bock and we'll freeze it a little bit, and it boosts the ABV up to about 14%, and it really just smooths the whole flavor profile around. It's really spectacular beer. It's only available at the brewery, so one more reason to come visit us in Butler.
There you go. And the last question from me, Greg, what's the one piece of advice that you could give someone who's listening right now and is looking to start their own brewery? What's the best piece of advice you could give them?
Yeah, I would say, really think hard about your business goals, because there's the beautiful part of brewing is the craft and that feedback, having an opportunity to share your hard work with your friends and hopefully some of your future customers. But there's so much competition out there, which is good. It's I think it's elevated the consciousness of craft beer in the community up higher and higher. But you really have, some of these guys, I think, have gone really long on what their financing expectations are, and it is I think it's going to change. I think the New Jersey in particular, I think, is getting to that point where you wonder, like, how much more can we put onto the shelves. So I would say it's a wonderful craft, but there is the backdrop of it being a small business. You have to be comfortable and kind of comfortable in your skin as a small businessman.
Gotcha. So you got to take a risk, but you also have to have that patience to see it through if you're going to take that risk.
Yeah, absolutely, and also have a bit of savvy, heads up business sense, because at the end of the month, your bills come due, and
That's right.
And you have to have that element of it. So
Exactly. My guest has been Greg Zaccardi. He's the founder of Ramstein Beer in Butler, New Jersey. RamsteinBeer.com is the website for more information. Greg, thanks so much for joining me tonight. Very much appreciate it.
Thank you. All the best.
You got it. Up next, it's time for Suds and Duds on the Algatulo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970 The Answer.